Hey guys, welcome to my first budgeting video on my channel. So if you're new here, my channel originally was set up to share cleaning motivation and just some decorating things. So I have always felt called to share a little bit of our financial journey, but I wasn't sure how to do that. But today is an exciting day that I'm hoping is the turn of that. So we made our last payment to our student loans today, and I am just going to kind of get started and share with you how we did that. We are a family of 5, and for the last 36 months, we have really just been really motivated and focused on getting some financial freedom. So I'm going to share with you how we did that. So first of all, this video setup is not perfect. I'm currently inside one of our closets, and I'm not really sure of the lighting and the camera setup just yet. What's holding my camera right now is my son's bunk bed ladder. Yes, he couldn't even get in bed last night because I'm using his bunk bed ladder to hold my camera. But anyway, over the course of time, I'll figure it out. So let's get started. So first off, a little bit about our financial journey is we have paid off $108,000 of debt in 36 months. 76,000 of that was student loans. I literally, if you remember, I said 80,000 total was our student loans. For 7 years, we paid on my student loans and only accomplished $4,000 of interest. So yes, that is the difference. So that was a big eye-opener to look at my student loan balance, and after 7 years, I realized, why isn't this going down? And here it was all going to interest. So that's when we really buckled up and started to try to pay those off. So we are a family of 5, and how we did this is that we lived off of $425 every 2 weeks, cash. Recently I did up that to $500 in our cash envelopes, and I also wanted to say that we have had a lot of life happen in this 36 months. We had surgeries, we had a house that we bought things for, we had a car accident. There's other things that we also had going on in this 36 months that maybe if everything just lined up just right, maybe it would have been 24 months. But anyway, that has just been part of our journey. And I also want to share with you all is that even though we made our last student loan payment today, over the last couple, I would say weeks, maybe a month or so, I really have felt like we've been getting a little bit of away from, we really could have done better, but I'm just going to start sharing that with you all because I just feel like it's very relatable, and you're not going to be perfect. It's life. And I really was hesitant to share our financial journey. I know that some of you are, personal friends here. I did share on my Facebook when we first started our progress, but then I kind of shied away from that because, I was giving out a little bit personal details of our finances, and it's just very hard to know that you're letting people, know about your personal life and you don't feel perfect about it. But anyway, I'm kind of over that now. I feel like I really could help people and see where this goes. So anyway, we are Dave Ramsey inspired. I want to tell you, he is really the biggest part of my motivation. I listen to him on Alexa. I listen to iHeartRadio. I listen to him in the car all the time. I watch YouTube videos on people sharing their debt-free journeys. I watched YouTube videos on meal prepping and things like that. Anyway, and if you are a mom that is watching this channel, you know we can get pulled in to many different directions. And, you know, it's really hard to, you know, plan meals and, you know, be in shape and go to the gym. And I just have decided I'm not going to be perfect in all these areas of my life. But what I am good at is budgeting and helping inspire people to kind of get control of their finances. So that's where I am at. So I think it's Dave Ramsey's daughter that talks about sinking funds. I'm not sure, but at the beginning, I had heard about sinking funds, and it's really like you take all these envelopes. Let's say you have medical, pets, car. You really just, you have all these envelopes and you put in, let's say, $8, $11, $20. Like you figure out all these sinking funds of what you need for the year for every little category in your life, and that just was like super confusing to me. So I kept it simple, and that's what I suggest for other people, because a lot of people, I think, get caught up on the sinking funds and just will stop altogether. So I'm going to share with you what we did. Very easy. Like I said, we just used 3 envelopes, and that was food, gas, and miscellaneous expenses. Now, miscellaneous expenses is anything that's not food or gas, is pretty much how I try to tell people, explain to people. So if I have, you know, paper towels, if I have, my son needs a pair of socks, things like that. Anything that's not food or gas is miscellaneous. And when you do it this way, you're going to really find that, you know, all those things that you get extra at the store, things that you think you need, you really don't. So what I did was I put the $425, what made up this $425 is, now I'm going to try to remember because it is a little bit different now. So food, I think, was $225, gas was $75, miscellaneous $100. So just to give you an example, that's kind of how I split some stuff up. I'll get into what we do now a little bit, but like I said, we haven't been perfect these last couple months, and, you know, have kind of felt gotten into where we're comfortable. So you know, I deal with the budgeting, but I feel like the last couple paychecks, I felt really uncomfortable with our finances, even though we're okay. It just, I can see that we're spending a little bit more on things that we don't need. So anyway, we'll get into all that eventually. So the goal of your budget is to be a little bit uncomfortable. You don't want all these extra things that you're allotting for, like, you know, all these extra splurges. Okay, you're going to try to live on very minimal, and you're going to have to cut out, let's say, Starbucks every day, but you may find that you can have, you know, one coffee, you know, a paycheck or something a little bit, but, you know, you don't want to, you know, allot $25 for your morning coffee. You're going to really cut back. So it should be uncomfortable at first. And you may have to adjust things. You may realize that you don't have enough in your gas envelope that lasts you 2 weeks, so you're going to start putting $20 extra. But the goal is to start and then kind of go from there. So, another thing is what you're going to do, one of your first steps, is you're going to add up all your debt from smallest to largest. Your credit cards, your medical bills, cars, everything. And again, this is where I wasn't 100% with Dave Ramsey. For an example, we had a piece of property that we sold, and we had purchased it when we were younger and had it paid off. So we resold it. We received $18,000 for that. And instead of, you know, going through the list of my smallest to largest for $18,000, my husband had a very large student loan that was $18,000. In the example of this loan, the rate and the interest, it was originally $13,000 that we borrowed, and it was already at $18,000 3 years later. So for me, I just wanted to hack that big debt because I felt like once I got so far in my baby steps, I would lose motivation to pay off that big bill. So for me, paying off really small ones, and if I get a big chunk of money that I can really knock out a big debt for me, that is what works. So another thing is you're going to want to talk to your spouse and come up with a why. This was a kind of a hard conversation with me and my husband. We, had been married at this point 10 years. We had a house. We just had to really look at where was our money going? Why were we making really good money and felt like we didn't have extra things and, weren't able to go and just go on vacation, all these things. So, this is when we had to sit down and really look at our debt and, where our money was going. And we had to come up with a why of why we didn't want to be in that cycle anymore. So for us, it was, easy. We just wanted to have a little bit of leeway to go on vacation. We wanted to be stable where we had a savings. We had a 800 credit score. Both of us had our credit scores were in the 800s, but yet we had no savings. So all that 800 credit score means that we are really good at borrowing and paying back our money. That's all that means. So, and another thing with Dave Ramsey is, he doesn't essentially believe in a credit score. We do. That's just something personal on us, with us. So, because he believes if you're paying with things with cash, then, your credit score is not really necessary anyway. But to us, it's still important. So, anyway, we just had to get on the same page as that. I'm very fortunate because my spouse allows me to handle all the money. I'm the nerd of this all. So it really was not hard to get my husband on board with this plan at all. Now, saying that, this has been 36 months of us being on this journey together. So there were times where I was very strict with our budget and I had to, kind of allow for additional spending every now and then, because it does get wearing. It is hard. So you don't have to be perfect in this. In this, you're going to say no a lot to your friends, to your family. But there would come a time that you'll just kind of know, hey, maybe we should go out to dinner one night, or hey, maybe we should do, we didn't do such extravagant things all the time, but, you'll have to just kind of work together. And luckily we were very supportive, and we kept each other, motivated in our why. So establish plan and goals. With some of this debt being gone, I'm not 100% debt free. We still have 2 vehicles. We have our house. There's things on there. Oh, I also have a Best Buy. Like I said, I'm not perfect. It is 0% financing for like something crazy like 24 months or something like that. I know our budget and what we can afford in paying. I could literally pay that off tomorrow because I have the money in the savings account now allotted for that. It was just, again, something personal that we, feel that we are responsible enough to, now that we know what we're doing with our finances. Anyway, so like I said, I think he is 85% of our motivation, and I think he's awesome. Buy his books, listen to his podcasts, but know that maybe, you're going to have to change things according to your family as well. So another big thing for us was not to compare our finances with other people. I'm sorry, hold on one second. So my kids are just getting home. Hold on. I'm going to have to cut this out. Hey! Shut the door, Brian! Okay. Well, I don't know what's happening out there, but anyway, so my kids are just getting home from school, but we're going to go on. So anyway, you don't want to compare yourself with other people because they might not have as much debt as you, or you may not have as much debt as them. They might not make as much money as you. They might not have kids. Hold on one second. Hey, can you shut my door? Dad? Sorry about that. Okay, so this is my life. I'm just saying. Okay, so don't compare yourself with other people because I feel like what they say is comparison is like the thief of joy, which is so true because you're always going to find a reason you're not accomplishing what you want to, but really you have the control to take with your own finances. So don't compare yourself with others. Find yourself like people. You know, if you're about trying to pay things off and be on a budget, surround yourself with people with similar goals, you know, that are not tempting you to go out to dinner or spend money. You know, you're going to find people that don't root for you, unfortunately. And, you know, it's important to kind of pull back, and it's okay to pull back from those people and family members that are just not on board with the positivity that you're trying to change in your life. So, anyway, that was one big, huge thing for me. We have definitely know who our cheerleaders are after this experience, and we definitely know who isn't. So that is huge. And then just know that you're not going to be perfect. Things are going to come up. You're going to want to do things, and it's okay to sometimes want to do those things, but I don't suggest going away from your plan right at the beginning. You know, you don't want to start your plan and 2 months later be like, okay, I want to buy a Louis Vuitton. I mean, you got to kind of, you know, that was just an example, but I'm just saying, like, you're going to kind of see along the journey what is worth, you know, delaying this process a little bit. I never really delayed things significant. But anyway, you're not going to be perfect, and the goal is just to get right back on track when stuff happens. So Dave Ramsey says to have $1,000 in your emergency fund. Like I said, I think this is a great starter. Over the course of time, with us being away from our family in Ohio, we do live in South Carolina now. We don't have people to kind of help us out if we needed to, etc. So we do have more than this in our emergency fund now. But I think at the beginning, I really did do this $1,000. But I think for us, I did increase it to $5,000 at one point because, like I said, you know, with 3 kids, our rent at the time was $1,600, something like that. I don't know. But, so we did increase this to $5,000. That was what we were comfortable with. And then you're going to start paying off your debt. So I'm going to get into a budget example here real quick. So like I said, this is just like per pay. We get paid bi-weekly. And so this is just an example. So if you're working on a $1,500 budget bi-weekly, let's just say this is total income. It might be more, it might be less. So like I said, we're just going to use this as an example. So your bring home pay, that check is $1,500. Let's say the bills that you need to pay that paycheck are $500 worth. And I suggest you need to organize your bills, list them all out like we have listed here, all of our bills. And there are certain bills that I pay with each paycheck. So organize your bills and decide what bills you're going to pay in accordance to when they're due. So for me, everything in February is already paid off. My next paycheck I highlighted here, I'm going to pay the house payment, gymnastics, and trash. So that is just an example of, you know, you're going to separate your bills. So let's say that the bills that you pay that pay period are $500, and in your envelopes you're going to put $250. You have $750 left over. I always kept $100 in my account as a buffer. So let's say my husband was on his way home from work and I needed a gallon of milk, but he didn't have any of the cash on him. He could stop and get a gallon of milk. I just basically kept this as a buffer just because, you know, you don't want to withdraw or something come through that you weren't unexpecting and get slammed with, you know, withdrawal fees or over withdrawal fees. So for us, this just worked. We just keep $100 in there as a buffer. And everything else, after I paid the bills, after I took out my cash and put them in my envelopes, I kept that $100 in there, and then I would have $650 left over, and I literally would write a check or get online and pay off a debt or a couple, just depending on where you are. I mean, for a long time for us, we paid off our small debts, and then it was just really student loans, student loans, student loans. So, and with your student loans, if you print out, you're going to get a sheet. You can actually see that each student loan is a different amount. So when you get the bill, like for me, for example, it said $23,000 was my total. But if you really break apart, each of those loans are different. I had loans for $1,000 each. And I was spending $1,000, you know, on random, you know, stuff every couple months. Like, there was really no point to have some of these lines of loans to make up that total. So take apart your loans. You know, you're going to have student loan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, line them all up, smallest to largest. Line up your credit cards, your medical debt, things like that. So I just put an example of debt here. You have a credit card, medical bills, you know. Anyway, I just made up some stuff. But this is very much what ours is a lot more, because we had literally like 14 lines of student loans. But so you're going to take that $650 and you're going to pay off this credit card. You're going to pay off, you know, you can see just with the $650, I paid off this credit card, this medical bill, this credit card, and then I was able to put $150 at this Lowe's, so my loan balance is now $100. So odds are next paycheck, I'm going to be able to knock that Lowe's off, knock, you know, this Sam's Club, you know, and just keep moving down your list. Sorry. So for me, again, so say I had $650 of debt to pay. Well, my husband got in a car accident. This is real life. And we had to pay our deductible. It was $500. So instead of playing the game of pulling from my emergency fund $500 and then paying my emergency fund back $500, what I did is I just took the $500 from the $650 and I had $150. So I paid cash for that unexpected occurrence, and I still had $150 to throw at one of these. So that is just an example. And that is how I worked it. I really did not touch my emergency fund unless, like, my emergency fund is there for, I mean, I don't even know yet, but I really just try not to even touch that. That has just worked for us. Let me see what else. I wanted to also share with you guys our envelope system here. So this is really easy. For us, we just had this little envelope. You can get this at anywhere. Walmart, I think, is like less than $3. I got this one for, and I just put in here a food category, another, and 100 in gas. Like I said, majority 85% stick to this. But these last couple months, we have been spending a little bit extra. Chick-fil-A, I don't know, other things. So, but anyway, I've been noticing that, and it's caused me a lot of anxiety because we're kind of getting away from this, and spending a little bit more on the credit card, which I didn't want to do. We do use a credit card that we pay off every paycheck, but I can get into that a whole nother video. So this is just kind of our little accordion system. Let's say after 2 weeks went by, we got paid again. I had $50 in here. So right now I put $500 cash in here. I would just pull out $450 of the ATM and you know, use that $50 to, again, fill my envelopes, or you could put that $50 in my rollover and, you know, go out to eat with the kids, or my son needs a new pair of shoes, like something like that. So when you're using cash, you're less likely to spend money on things that you don't need. So, I mean, there was times I was in the store, and I just wanted to share with this real quick, just an example of our notebook. Times that we're in the store, and you could, you know, you can literally put so many snacks and so many different things, and you get up there, you only went into the store for 3 items, and now your bill is $50 because you just had extra stuff. So when you live off of cash, you don't spend it like you would if you're not seeing it with that credit card. So anyway, this is an example of like our notebook that we had going on. I suggest to get a notebook, and it doesn't have to be fancy. You can see this is not fancy at all, but this is the nerd in me. So this is our debt that we paid off, and I would write where my snowball went. So that just kind of helped me keep track. You can see here, and I stopped keeping track after a while, and I really wish I didn't. I have counted up how much debt that we have paid off. I had to go back and count it all up, but this is a real big motivator for me, just looking at this and just seeing how far we came. I think we fell off here because we bought the house, and like I said, we bought some things for the house, and I was feeling a little bit imperfect and kind of got away from this, but anyway. So, but right here I had kept track that I almost paid $76,000 in 20 months of debt off. So you can see, and then I would put like my debt left and goals, and I have a new notebook that I'm going to be doing this with too. And then this is stuff that I cash flowed. So if I had an unexpected bill, you know, so I just could keep account where all my money was going. So, and here you can see as of, I put October 13th of 19, I had paid off almost $21,000, or not paid off, but I had spent $21,000 in cash flow. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing what you can do. This is just my book that I'm just doodling and stuff, so. Anyway, I hope this has inspired a bunch of you to kind of get your finances in order, and I'm excited to post this to my channel. I may make a new YouTube channel, but we will see how this goes. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Alright guys, thank you.